Hello everyone, this is vlog number 6 for the documentary film Shepherds, which I'm producing through the Webster University New Media Production Master's Program as my final thesis. Now this vlog is going to be a little bit more of a behind the scenes, how I did it kind of deal. So I just got back from Kendrick Glennon Seminary doing some Glidecam stuff. And the Glidecam is it's a very interesting piece of equipment. It's a Steadicam that is a lot cheaper and more cost efficient for smaller projects like this. So I went ahead and checked it out through the Media Center at Webster University, and I'm going to demonstrate just how to set this thing up. So here we have the main unit for the Glidecam. I have it mounted on a light stand right now, which is it's very useful to do that in order to get it so that you can see it and it's not fumbling around and falling over and being a miserable frustration. So here we have the Glidecam itself. So it's just a mount with a gimbal like that. So I can move this around, and when there's a camera on there, it's kind of wobbling around right now, but it's still kind of steady. But when there's a camera on there, it'll be even more steady, because that is the idea for doing Glidecam shots, so that you can get a steady feel for it while being able to move around. So the Glidecam here is it's pretty compact, but it's very flexible, and it has several main components. I'm going to go over those right now. First of all, as I mentioned before, it's got this gimbal handle right here, and I can just kind of swivel that around, and when there's a camera, it doesn't move around like that. So now I'm going to talk about the camera. So I'm going to put that back on the light stand there. The camera that I use for the documentary film Shepherds is my Canon XA10. It's a professional camcorder. I got this off of BH Photo. It retails around $1,200 to $1,500, and supposedly this model's been discontinued. So you can probably find a better camera for that price by Canon. I happen to like Canon a lot. All my cameras are Canons, and I'm just used to the way that they format things. The problem with this camcorder is, while it is a very good 1080p camcorder, it's incredibly light. So using it for a Glidecam is kind of problematic, because the thing with the Glidecam is that most of the weight is already on the bottom. And when I put the Canon XA10 here, it's not adding any more weight to the top, so there's not a significant amount of counterweight with just the camera. So in order to get around that, there are parts that come with the Glidecam for the purposes of counterweighting. So we have down here, this is the bottom portion of it. If you can see here, right there is where we would put counterweights on the bottom. We usually use just washers that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. However, because my camera is so light on the top, there is plenty of weight here on the bottom. So it's not so necessary to put any more weight on there. We want to put weight on the top. So what I'm going to do is, in the Glidecam case that comes from Webster University, we have this little Pelican case that is full of counterweights and plates for the top portion. So I found that by using 3 of these additional metal steel plates, that is enough to counterweight the Canon camera. So I'm going to attach these now. I'm going to remove this. And these little screws that are on the plate here, these are incredibly important, because these are not easy to replace. So if I lose these, then I'm out a whole Glidecam package. So I am going to carefully remove the screws here and put them in a place where I will remember where they are. That's not going to be a pocket. It's going to be right here on my desk. So now I can take this part off And I'm going to get my 3 plates that I have here, and I'm going to put that on top of the mounting plate right there. Now there are, as you can see, there are holes in here. That is where you would put your screw and align your camera. So I'm going to do that now. In this little pouch here, we have assorted washers, screws, anything for counterweighting, all your accessories that you need when you're setting up an individual camera for the Glidecam. So I'm going to root through here, see if I can find the magical screw that I need in order to mount my camera. I don't want it to be too long, but I don't want it to be too short either. I think this is the one. Let's see if this is the right length of screw to get 3 plates through the mounting plate and also onto the camera's mount. I actually think that's going to be a little too long, so give me just a second here. I'm going to try to find the other screw that I need. Alright, I finally found the screw. So it has to be long enough to go through all the plates, but small enough to be able to go to the camera comfortably. So I'm now going to mount my camera, which I have here. This has to be done very carefully because, like I said, I spent quite a lot of money on this camera. And I really do not want to drop it. Okay, so using a flathead screwdriver, I am going to go ahead and tighten this, making sure that the camera is as parallel with the mounting plate as possible. Get it nice and secure. I can already tell that this is quite heavy, so now it's time to put this back on to the mounting plate here. And when you're doing this for your own projects, I actually would not recommend using a small light stand like this. It's a little light, and unless you are really monitoring where everything is and making sure that you have your hands on everything securely, this could easily fall off if you're not careful. One more screw to go. Okay, so now the camera is properly mounted and properly weighted. Now it seems to be a little front heavy, so it's kind of leaning forward. So I'm going to put this back on, and I'm going to back this up a little bit by just loosening the screws. I'm not going to take them out all the way, just enough so that I can adjust the grooves along the plate, move that back just a little bit. I'm going to try again. Setting up the Glidecam always takes a little bit of time, so always make sure that if you're going to be doing this for one of your shoots, to allow yourself enough time to get this set up and calibrated. Okay, so now this Glidecam is pretty stable. Now the true test to make sure that you've got it balanced properly is the 3-second test. So what you do, you hold it completely perpendicular to yourself like this, and then just let it drop. And if it comes back to this position in 3 seconds, then you know you've done it right. So let's count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is a properly stable and balanced Glidecam. So I can use this to have steady moving shots for my documentary film. Now, this is the fun part with the Webster University Glidecam. So you can buy the Glidecam just like this. You can probably find it on Craigslist. This has seen a lot of, it's had a lot of experience. So it's a little dinged up, but it still does its job. It's a very stable, very robust piece of equipment. So that is actually a little too heavy for the light stand now, because my light stand is only meant for a tungsten light. It's not really meant for a big joker bug or anything like that. So I'm just going to place this down here carefully. Now the fun part is the vest. Now the vest comes in 3 parts. It's got a back you put on like so. And doing this by yourself is not really that great of an idea, because you want someone to kind of tighten it beyond the limits that you want it to be, because this has to be as stable as you can get it. So there's the back, and this part is the front. So let's put this here. We're going to buckle that in. And the other side. Okay, so that's nice and secure. Then we have another couple of buckles right here in the center. Adjust my microphone here, because I think that is going to be problematic with bumping into the Glidecam. Okay, so now that I got the microphone all squared away, I'm going to buckle that other buckle there in the center. Now I'm going to take the one on the bottom, go around the back. Try not to snap your fingers in the buckle like I always do. Then pull this one tight and Velcro it back. Pull this one as tight as you can. All right. Now, there is a little two-hole notch here that you will use to put the third part of the vest on, which is the arm. So this is the third and final part of the vest. So right here you got 2 notches, and those 2 notches go right in that slot there. So now this can swivel around, but you want to be incredibly careful with this thing, because if you're not holding onto it, it will fly off and hit something. And if that's a piece of architecture that you're filming, or some artwork, or I don't know what, maybe even a person, that could cause problems. So always make sure that you're holding onto this. Now I'm going to put the Glidecam that we already assembled onto the arm. It's not easy to do by yourself. Always have a friend with you to help you out with these Glidecam shoots. And now it is fully assembled, and it is a fully functioning Glidecam. Now I went ahead and already shot some footage at Kenrick Glennon Seminary with this thing, and it went great. I had a friend help me out, and she made sure that I didn't fall downstairs or hurt anybody or had the camera swing off in one direction. So like I said, always very good to have someone with you to help you out with a Glidecam, especially if you want to try any trick shots like moving backwards and getting your focus to be walking toward you. Always make sure you have someone behind you telling you, hey, you've got a couple of stairs coming up, you might want to be careful. So using the Glidecam after this point takes a little bit of practice. As you can see, it's very bouncy because I've got the spring set pretty high. So you can decrease the spring set with this by using an Allen key, and that will help to stabilize it better. So, but you might actually want to have that bouncing, you know, depending on what kind of shoot you want. So the idea is that you just kind of pan across or walk with it, and just make sure that you are lightly holding on to both of these handles here. Don't just use this one, because as you can see, the camera is going to just float around and not have any kind of stabilization. You really do need to use your other hand. Now the idea with this is that even though you're using your other hand, this is absorbing all the shock from walking up and down. So even though you've got one hand on there and the other one on here, it's still helping you out with the motions. So that is the Glidecam, courtesy of Webster University Media Center. And I hope this was useful to anyone that is hoping to use something like this in their shoots. So that's vlog number 6 for the Shepherds documentary. Stay tuned. I'll have more updates for you soon.